All right, let's try again without giving out any details of my most precious people. Oh my God. So for anyone just joining this stream, in fact, let's not even go into it. Let's just never mention it again and learn from it. So we've got 4 people back. We've got no comments. So basically, I started a stream, effed it up, and had to start again. Because I shared information of people that I shouldn't be sharing information of, by mistake, of course, but it was irresponsible and stupid. What a pleb. Debbie's back. Violent, pathetic, broken man is back. Imagine being violent and thinking it's some sort of accolade. Now, having the ability to be violent, great. We need that. But actually, like, going around thinking you're a man because you're like, you want to say that to my even though I'm going to come into your live stream and shit all over it. To be fair to you, mate, you're not that bad. Like, at least you're not just a full-on ball of projection. You haven't gone inside and you have a spaz. But you know, at least in your desire to do me down, there's practicality in there. But everything you say is negative. Like, you're clearly somebody who's very jealous of me. Right, so all the good ones are back. We've also gained a Caluso. Oh my goodness. Look at him now, he's lying. So this is how disgusting this man is. You started a stream, insulted your audience and tried to hide it. No, I insulted you. And I'm more than happy to do that again. You're still an absolute pleb. You have no respect for me and you have a shit on my shoe. I don't need to end the stream because I've insulted people. I've just called the stream, name calling this back with vengeance. All of my streams are very insulting to plebs, and I'm very proud of that. So of course not. Why are you making up lies? Everyone just saw what happened. I shared the emails of some people who had donated to me by mistake, which obviously is not good. So that's why I've done it, because I'm an honorable man who tries to respect the people that honor me. And you've just made up a lie in front of everyone. So now everyone can see what a pathetic human you are. The sort of pathetic human that gets fisty when he gets exposed, rather than going, oh yeah, and taking accountability and growing as a man. No, you get fisty because you're so defensive, because you're so fucking pathetic. You absolute. You're there with the, in terms of my respect. Very jealous, pathetic man who hates himself and his life. Would you prefer to live in Tinsley or Page Hall? My God. So these are the areas of Sheffield on the side of the city that I never went to other than for football or to buy big sacks of green herbs and maybe little bags of powder. Page Hall is now Afghanistan. Like, I did a video there. It's unreal. Like, not a single white. I think maybe there were 2 white people in the video. I don't know about Tinsley. I assume so. I'm a posh boy. I was brought up in Worcester. So to me, these areas were just, you know, like the dark areas in Lion King. You know, you just would never go to them. So I went to Hillsborough to get my substances and football fix. So I never went to these places. The first time I'd ever gone to Page Hall was to record that video when I was 40. I've never been to Tinsley. So I'm going to say Tinsley just because I know that Page Hall is Afghanistan, but I imagine Tinsley is too. I'm not sure why you're putting them both in. It's either because they're both the same, or Tinsley could still be a very working class white area, in which case, well, obviously Tinsley, but Tinsley anyway, because it can't be worse than Page Hall. What are you going to do when you get tinnitus? I'm not going to get tinnitus, that's for plebs. I never mentioned violence. You wouldn't say that to my face. Come on, mate. I was saying that I do not believe you would have the confidence to be so disrespectful in person and somehow you made that about me. Oh, I would. Don't worry, I would. I think I could live in Cambodia. I'd charge the rent boys double for me to bum them. I'm white and blonde. Well, you wouldn't be able to make any money off of them. I know you're joking, but I'm going to take it seriously because it's quite interesting. You wouldn't be able to make any money off of rent boys, but you could be a rent boy or a rent man. So So, you know, a good-looking white guy out here would be in demand, even at you're 31, aren't you? Yeah, you could do it for 10 years if you've got a good body. But you'd have to compete prices. You get people on there who are like, I'm a money boy. And then you're like, okay, how much? And they're like, $100. And then they go, I'm not local. And I'm like, yeah, but you're competing with locals. What are you talking about? You might be from America, but you're competing with locals. So you're basically going to have to, you'd have a bit of a premium because you'd, you know, presumably not have a 3-inch dick and you're white. So there would be a bit of a premium there. You might be able to get $30 an hour. But yeah. Selling my ass, oh no, pounding ass, taking off a state. Pounding ass, taking off a state. What have I just tuned into? I assumed this was a stream based on being sat with your mates every weekend, slagging each other off for enjoyment and laughs. So why did you make that stupid assumption? That's on you, mate, for making assumptions. Assumptions will make the ass of a man. Evening from Manny. Oh my God, what is that thing that you guys have just elected? Oh, the energy of it. And she says all the positive buzzwords while just like being completely emotionless. And, you know, you can just see the fucking demon in her. Equality and respecting everyone. Oh, God, in fact, that's not a good impression of her voice, man. It's way more manly than that. I saw a picture of her, and I don't know if it's AI or not, of her inauguration. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say. When she got, it's not even sworn in, these are all American terms, and it's just a fucking council pleb. But, you know, when she got chosen. I mean, is it AI? I don't know. Like, she was wearing all LGBT garments and stuff. Like, it was just like out of this world, fucking woke. I think it was probably real. It's just mental. She was so mental, but yeah, she's so awful. So I've lost all respect for Manchester. I know only 25% of people turned out, but how are people still voting for Labour? How are people still voting for woke, demonic shit? Gays aren't good people in general. Yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely shadow and trauma. Yeah, very broken, very selfish. Yeah, not good. Caluso, don't even need to go into that much detail. I could boss these brownies around. I'm white and blonde, for fuck's sake. I set the price. They take it or leave it. So you wouldn't be having brown clients. You know, no Cambodian's going to pay you. It'd be people like me. Who are bored of 3 inches. I'm like, oh, thank God, there's a fucking white one that I'll actually feel. Ah, Judd. Hello, Judd. Judd leaves lots of comments. Hit and miss. How you doing, mate? Is everything in this life a psyop? I have got to a point where I think every event of the third dimension is a psyop. Yes. I think there's some things that aren't a psyop, like oneness, like nature. But I think you're referring to news events. I call them events of the third dimension. Yes, I believe so. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that no one gets hurt? Does that mean that there were no, well, you know, maybe there were no planes in 9/11. That's a bad example. Does that mean that there wasn't a young man called Henry Nowak who lost his life and got treated horrendously by the police? I don't know. I would be inclined to think, yes, that person did exist, and yes, that did happen. But then but they know that that's going to happen. It's inevitable because of, you know, their policies and the invasion and the two-tier system. And just the fact that these people are animals, and of course they're going to kill people. So they could use it and create a psyop out of a real event, or are they just full-on psyops? Yeah, honestly, I'm 50-50 on that front. Roz is having a trip out in a boot. I'm in a hotel room tonight and can relate to your irritation with others' noise, but it feels quite homely to be able to take you with me. Oh, that's lovely. Lauren, I've got a question for you. So Lauren is very supportive. And when I had my bouts of depression, and I can't do this, so periods of time where I didn't YouTube. So, you know, it was quite frequent. You know, like at least once a month, I'd have at least 3 days where I just couldn't do it, or often a week. And then obviously, you know, sometimes I disappeared for a month. And after a while, I'd always get a text from Lauren, and it was just like, "Hey, how you doing? Just want to let you know how much I love you and your content and really appreciate it. I really hope to see you back soon." And she'd always very proudly state that she's always watched every minute of my content. And this is since I started. Lauren is the OG. She watched from the very first episode in Thailand. I already knew Lauren in my actual human life. So is that still the case since I started live streaming, Lauren? Because if so, that is serious dedication. I'm just interested to know. Yeah, hotel room sucked, man. Why are you in a hotel room? What are you doing? Does all your income come from YouTube? Well, indirectly, yes. My other income that doesn't come directly from YouTube, but wouldn't happen if it wasn't for YouTube, so you could still say yes, is Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, so donations, and clients, people who walk with me, who pay £50 an hour to change their lives. So none of that would happen without YouTube. So you could say yes, or if you want to be really specific, then it would be 70 to 80% from YouTube itself, and the rest, and yeah, what I've just mentioned. Really? Ray's an asshole. What made you think that Ray wouldn't be hateful? He's a pathetic, weak, jealous man. Of course he's going to be hateful. It don't matter who is in power. These people think voting will actually make a difference. Who do you mean by these people? The people in my chat, I think it's about 50-50. But obviously, I totally agree with you. You are right. Oh, do you have misaligned fascia? Yeah, I'm almost certain that's going on. Yes. I think a lot of trauma is held in the fascia. Calusa, I heard Farage has declined. Yeah, well, he didn't really decline it, did he? He couldn't say the words "I don't accept." So what he did is he made it impossible for it to move forward. It was disgusting, his response. Absolutely disgusting. What an egoic, arrogant, lacking in integrity, lacking in good intentions for the country that man is. Like, he's all about himself. He's absolutely disgusting. I thought his response was disgusting. The way he handled it, the way he just started, oh, and it's very ironic because Rupert Lowe this, Rupert Lowe that, and the way he tried to deflect it, the way he tried to do Rupert Lowe down. Obviously, I know it's all just a tie-up and part of the show. Like, I don't care about Rupert Lowe. I know he's one of them. But if we're going to speak about the show, let's speak about the show. So, yeah, I thought he was disgusting. And he basically said that he wasn't going to get rid of the Tory demons, which means it can't go forward. So he's declined it, but in a way where he won't get accused of dividing the right, because he's obviously not far right, he's a leftist. I heard Farage has declined Restore's offer to merge the parties because Rupert Lowe has requested the ban of kosher meat. Not that I care, and I know they're all playing along. Yeah, no, I don't think it is that, actually. I think it's because he's insisted on there being no Tories in the party. Opal Son, thank you, Tom. I appreciate you doing that. To others assuming Tom hid the comments as the reason for deleting and restarting the stream, shush your angry assumptions in the past now. Bless you. Thank you, Opal Son. Thank you for forgiving me for my faux pas. I went in the garden at 3 a.m. the other night. Huge effing trail of smoke across the sky. They are manipulating the F out of this weather. It's not normal. Yeah, I mean, these fires are... So I'm going to talk about what some crazy conspiracy theorists say now. Obviously, I don't believe anything I'm going to say. Of course, these are just natural disasters, and we can definitely trust our governments. They would never, ever do anything like this, so this is not true. But yeah, there's satellite footage of lasers. You can see the lasers going to the exact spots where the fires start. Obviously, it's all, well, these conspiracy theorists claim that it's all done by lasers in space. And then there's also video footage of libtards setting fire to creating these forest fires. So it's because, you know, they're so concerned about climate change that they think it's worthwhile to burn loads of places. You know, they're so twisted in their ideology and they're so desperate for their ideology to be right, they will set fires to prove that climate change is true, which of course it is true. So I don't know why they need to set fires. Obviously, it's not really true. So yeah, disgusting. I mean, just you know, once you realize that, you know, they all eat and do horrendous things, you know, I mean, like to say they're PDF files is just nowhere near. You know, they get off on torturing children, and they get off on it not just in the only, obviously we can't comprehend getting off on torturing children, but if we were try and comprehend it, we'd understand it from a psychological perspective. Like, obviously we won't be able to understand it because it's beyond that, you know, it's just impossible for us. But you know, it'd be sick, it'd be twisted. But no, it's more than that. Like, because they're not human. They're eating the energy, and they need the energy of fear. And then there's the whole chromes of the adrenaline thing, which apparently is much more potent if there's lots of adrenaline running through the body when it's taken. So how do you create lots of adrenaline? You create lots of fear. You know, what these people are doing to children is just off. Like, just, you know, this is why people can't believe it, because they can't comprehend it. Like, the human mind can't comprehend the level of evil that these reptilians go to. So, you know, I mean, obviously that is the worst of the worst, harming children. But for me, these fires are in the same bracket of evil, really. Like, you know, it just gets to a point where it can't be any more evil, and it's just like gobsmackingly evil. And I think burning all of Europe and, you know, over the last few years, America, and probably still now America, it is just, you know, just beyond that level of evil where you just have to put it in the category of insanely evil. Just mad. I haven't heard kosher food getting mentioned in this low Farage thing. Kosher food is the safest around, as it's not tampered with. Funny about it. Now, why would Rupert Lowe want to get rid of kosher food? Because he's a massive Israel lover. So I think you're very confused there, Cluser. And also there's this, like, why would you want to get rid of the only food that's not poisoned? Yeah, really interesting, isn't it, Riley? Like, I think Coke have green lids on Coke for J's. But obviously anyone can buy it. So once you learn this life hack, then you reject everything to do with that horrendous sand rat religion, just like all the Abrahamic religions that are not of these lands and were forced upon us through conquering and forcing. It wasn't a choice. No one wanted to take on this Abrahamic religion that we now call Christianity, because it's for sand rats. So yes, you can reject all the sand rats propaganda, but you can eat their food because it's not poisoned. And yes, it was forced on us by the Jays. There's a whole army of foreign fellas now working in security. It's mad, isn't it? I mean, the level of inversion we're dealing with now, like calling them security. How can you call animals security? How can you call? Yeah, I better not go any further. But I want to make some sort of references to the proven scientific genetic differences between certain species. And that proves that there's nothing secure about these people. Oh, Sarah, nice one. Thought I'd say hi. A long day with my non-verbal child. Oh my goodness, your life is very challenging, isn't it? This is definitely my healthiest outlet yet. These lives you do are cathartic. Great. One more reflection I had for you is what I think you did the other night is I think you broached a conversation with your partner that you're too scared to have through my live stream. It's great that you're getting to a point where you're like, this just has to happen and this is the only way I can do it right now. It's great that you're getting to a point where you're about to start talking about these things with your partner, but it isn't a healthy way of doing it. I'm not shaming it, I'm not making it wrong, and it's the only way you can do it in that moment. But of course, it's very passive aggressive to do it through my live stream. And of course, he's going to watch that and be mortified, but it's all public. And again, I'm not making that wrong. I'm just stating the obvious. So what I'm encouraging you to do is go to him in vulnerability, owning your stuff, knowing that that will allow him to own his stuff. And you can both have your first open, vulnerable conversation rather than like you usually do. Whereas doing it through a live stream is going to just create more than you usually have because it's going to create a really strong reaction in him of shame and embarrassment, and therefore he's going to get very defensive. So I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's a good way to do it. Having said that, if it's the only way you can do it right now, and if it serves you and you don't think he does watch the live stream, but you said he's a big fan of mine. So, I mean, I would be very interested to know how he reacted to that live stream. But I don't think it's really something you should be like. And this isn't like as a prude or as a like, oh, you should, you shouldn't. I don't care. It's you know, what's right for you and your relationship, and making it so that it's not an abusive ship rather than a relationship. Because at the moment you're just manipulating and abusing each other. So that would be my advice for you, Sarah. However, you know, I would love it if you did carry on splurging into the stream because it makes for a very good stream. But I don't think it's good for you and your children, most importantly. Non-verbal child, oh my God. Aggressive man, aggressive child as a partner. She's got super masculine energy and looks like a lesbian, and she's got a non-verbal child. My God, Sarah. You are here for a powerful journey. Your soul took on a big one. Congratulations. Whew. Ah, Josh, we love Josh. Have you been researching the islands in the south of Thailand? Hi, Tom. Thank you for your recommendations regarding Asia. Thailand it is, but would love to come and see you. But I'm worried you'll think I'm a pleb. So, Josh, I love anyone who is honest and authentic. And you can be honest in your plebbery. It's not about your knowledge. It's not about your wisdom. It's not about who's better, who knows more. There's none of that. It's just like, is this guy open and honest with himself? And of course, my judgment of you is that you have lots of blinkers on, lots of layers, lots of repression, and lots of... So obviously, I don't think you're living in honesty, but I think you're honest with yourself. And I think you are very ideologically challenged, but willing to look at that ideology. So if we were to communicate, I would totally, I would expect and understand that you would have resistance to a lot of what I said. But I know that you would be inquiring with that resistance. And that means I would love it. So yes, I would think you're a bit of a pleb, but I would love you for that plebbery. Because this is how and I think you'll know if this is true or not, and I'm almost certain it is true. You don't come with this energy. You know, you do come with this energy, but also just with a lot of blinkers on. And that's not your fault. I'm not going to be angry or care that you have blinkers on. I had those very same blinkers and still have many blinkers. So I'm not going to judge you for your blinkers. I will judge you if you're like grabbing onto the blinkers and like refusing to take them off, you know, or not, because it doesn't matter to me whether you take them off or not. Obviously, for you, I hope you do. I'm not going to be. I just know that if you came around me and Lee, it would be very beneficial for you. I know we'd serve you really well. I know you'd go away a transformed man. However, there wouldn't really be any expectation on that, or my self-worth wouldn't be based on how you reacted, like it has been in the past. So I think we'd get on great. Worst case scenario, I would meet up and there'd be mega resistance from you. And don't get me wrong, I just like, how's it going, Josh? Like, how was Thailand? You enjoying staying with me? And then I'm sure the conversation would get a bit deeper. But I wouldn't be coming in being like, right, Josh, this is what you can't see. This is, like, no, just be a nice flowing conversation. I think you'd really benefit from it. I think we'd get on great. I agree that it probably shouldn't be more than. I feel like 3 days in Siem Reap would be ideal. A week tops. I don't think we should spend any more time than that because we are in very different places. You're not somebody that I would hang around with long term, but you are somebody that I'd very much like to meet up with and get to know, and trust that would be of benefit for you and me. So I'm very open to it. I think you should go and do X amount of time. So let's say you're doing 2 weeks, go and do 11 days in the south of Thailand and then come to Siem Reap for 3 days, something like that. You could stay here. A week here is $120. So you can break that down, but it will be a bit more obviously per day than if you broke it down. So what's that? It's like 20 quid a day, isn't it? Or you could stay somewhere cheaper and get a tuk-tuk here. Because I ain't going to leave to meet you. You're going to have to come here. And it's very normal. Of course, you're going to worry, but because we're so of the ego and so in the minds of others, my opinion of you matters to you, or anyone's opinion of you matters to you. But hopefully, after spending some time with Lee and I, that would lessen. And you'd start to get to a place where you'd realize that my opinion means nothing. And so it's good to work that muscle. It's good to work that fear. Now, I still suffer from this, where I tell myself, oh, I can't meet people right now. I'm not sociable right now. I've smoked too much right now. I'm not good enough right now, because it matters what they think. But actually, so I've been on a big process with Michael with this. Like at first, I pedestaled Michael and was worried what he thought about me. And I still notice that coming up. And like when he invites me out after I've had a smoke, I'm like, oh, no, I can't possibly. So it still is a thing. But really seeing how well, for so many reasons, all he wants to do is connect and love and honor and grow together. He's not judging. If he is judging, then that's his shit. I don't care. Just all these things that you learn as you lean into these fears more. It's just vile, isn't it? Debbie, Farage is disgusting inside and out. I didn't realize quite how disgusting he is, energetically, how much he makes my skin crawl. Just what a vile, egoic man he is. Until that response to Rupert Lowe yesterday. I mean, basically, because I've never really listened to him. And I guess when I did briefly listen to him, I was just so relieved that the Overton window was moving that I gave him leeway. But put it this way, it's probably the first time I've heard him speak in a year, and I was repulsed, absolutely repulsed by his energy, his demeanor, everything about him. And that interview repulsed me. And I suppose it's because he is more interested in his own career or fame than uniting the right and the right. I mean, it isn't even the right. He's a lefty. Uniting what the media calls the right and saving the country. But obviously that's not his intention. He has no intention of doing anything good for this country, and not that he has the power to anyway, even if he did get into power. But he's absolutely working for them every time. Did you ever look into the celebrity bloodlines and how a lot of them have powerful family members? Life is a stage real. Not really. I'm aware that bloodlines are a really big thing, and there's maybe even less than, but at most 12 families running this world. But then, then you've got the reptilians and the fallen angels. Like, for me, it's all just layers of truth until you basically get to fallen angels. And then, I don't know enough to say. But I know it's a big deal, and I also think that's why they're doing this 23andMe, have they called? These apps, these offerings where you send your blood to them and they tell you where you're from. Like, I think that's all about searching for bloodlines. I don't know why they're searching for those bloodlines or what they will do with the people who have those bloodlines. I imagine it won't be very positive. Reform are the new Tories. They won't stop immigration, and they push the digital ID still. I think it was a Dino Bain video where he pointed out that Farage, in 2021, Farage said that Tony Blair should be in charge of the Jib Jab program, and now Tony Blair was a Satanist. Like, Tony Blair turned into a demon in that time. You could actually see the demon in his face. I mean, you still can, but it was really pronounced. And he was wanting mandatory vaccinations. Well, so did Nigel Farage. He said that we should have mandatory jib jabs, according to Dino Bain, and I'm sure he'll be right. So he's literally, he's just the worst of the worst. Things will get worse and worse until people wake up to the power from within, not from authority. Yeah, Clouseau's eaten way too many mushrooms to get caught up in this external bullshit. He knows it's all about the within. The mainstream media have reported 33 people have been arrested in relation to the fires. They're literally laughing in our faces. It's incredible, isn't it? How much they use that number. It's just incredible. So they're not saying who these people are, presumably. How are the people starting fires? Just how evil and hateful do you have to be setting fire to nature to try and reinforce your twisted ideology? Or probably just because you're getting paid. Just disgusting. And how are the media simultaneously saying that 33 people have been arrested for setting fires, but it's climate change? And how do the plebs not see that people are getting arrested for setting up fires and still believe that it's climate change? I just don't get it. I just don't get how stupid they are. Yeah, totally. I mean, what do you think you and your partner are? You're energy vampires. You're manipulating and getting your needs met through dishonesty. So that's a form of this as well. Everyone's got it in them. And then there's Sophie. Hillary, oh, what an absolute C-bomb. Hillary with the face skin. Oh, sorry, you're talking about Hillary. I thought you were talking about the guy that goes on This Morning, who's got a woman's name. I forget his name. Oh, he's dead, isn't he? I think he died. Fantastic. The main doctor on This Morning during the pandemic, the tyranny, who's got a woman's name. Hillary Jones, maybe, or something like that. I think he's called Hillary, innit? Imagine being a man called Hillary. Oh my God. Anyway, I think he's dead now, thank goodness. Oh, bless you, Rachel. We'll get to you in a sec. So, Mrs. Clinton. Actually, no, let's... yeah, I shouldn't have said that. So I'm going to come back to this comment after we've done this. Rachel, can you ask Michael how to make a donation, please, Tom? He answered my question, but nowhere to donate, no bank account. Can I send money to you for Michael, please? 5G masts are being microwaved. Yeah, but I mean, there's all the issues we spoke about earlier about, you know, whether it's serving Michael or not for me to do this. And then there's also the fact that you can't do bank transfers, can't use PayPal, can't use Buy Me a Coffee, can't use Patreon. So even if I did decide it would be best for Michael to say yes, then you're going to have to do it through YouTube. So he's going to. So it seems. So I think I'm willing to say yes in this one big instance. But I don't want you to do it through YouTube. Okay, I will do this for you and Michael if you can honor yourself and learn how to do a bank transfer, and then I will pass 100% of that bank transfer on to Michael. And if you reference it, Michael, then all of that will go to Michael. So you need to do your bit and learn how to do a bank transfer, and then I'll pass it on to him. But I do still question whether that is really serving Michael or not. Fan on it. It's halal and kosher because they don't stun the animals first before they slaughter. Yes. But there's also something about, so more than just meat. So forget the really, you know, the halal stuff. You know, that's just obviously brutality by Samat. But the kosher stuff is a bit different, I think. Like, yeah, of course, it's still got all that Arabianism in it, all that from that area of the world. Nothing good has ever come out of that area of the world. So, yeah, it's still got all the brutality and the evil in it when it comes to the ending of animals. But it goes wider than that because kosher food is more than just meat. And it seems that they have only natural ingredients in kosher food rather than all these chemicals that we have in our goy food. Thanks for the 10, Rachel. I forgot to thank you for that bit. Oh, no, I was going to get back to Riley. Where did Riley go? She was saying something interesting. Hillary with that face skin on her face. So Riley is talking about a conspiracy theory that, of course, is not true. Why have we got these crazy conspiracy theories in my chat? I am going to read her comment, but I do not agree with any of this. Of course, this didn't happen. So Riley is claiming, but I strongly disagree with his claim, that Hillary with the face skin on her face, scaring the kid pinned on the table, has to be the sickest thing that Riley has made up, but thinks she's seen. So there's a video on the dark web of this person doing what Riley's just described, but of course it's fake. Of course it's not real. It might be real. There's no way of knowing. So yeah, it is. If it was true, which of course it isn't, it is the worst thing one could ever witness in their lives. And it goes by this name in the conspiracy circles. Yeah, it's very. Thankfully, I haven't watched it. I have heard. So I did click on it, and the screaming in the first 5 seconds was too much for me. So I clicked off. Thank God. Rachel, thanks for the 2. Okay, thanks, Tom. Sleeping now. Got work. Ah, you need another sick note, Rachel. All right, you sleep well, Rachel. Let's make that happen. This is a new person, I think. Sim Racing Wales. Hey, Tom, I'm going to shit on the floor again. Oh, God, can't you get to a toilet? That's, That's pretty drastic. It's pretty drastic. The only times that happens to me, and it sounds like that was just a choice. It sounds like you're just choosing to shit on the floor. Are you Indian? And it looks like you're Welsh. Welsh people don't shit on the floor. Only Indians do that. And Bangladeshis. Then anyone from, you know, that area. Or me in forests. So yeah, it happens to me if I'm miles away from a toilet, or it also happens to me if I'm really close to a toilet, but not the in between, only the two extremes. So you've seen in forests, you know what happens there. And then it just amazes me how the body knows the score, and the body just knows the proximity to the toilet. So you can like acknowledge that you need a poo, and you can travel home for half an hour and it's fine until the last 10 meters, and then suddenly the chocolate starfish is just like, let's go. And it's like, but we're not there yet. All over the floor. So yes, I have experienced this. Are you doing it through choice? Why are you pooing on the floor? Please give us more information about you and your poo. Spen, my favorite conspiracy theory is that people do conspire. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing that the plebs, I mean, it's just so obvious, like power corrupts. And the plebs would know, like that's a well-known saying. And if you said throughout history to a pleb, throughout history, there's never been anyone with power that's done good, they would, overall, they'd be able to nod along to that. But if you then say the current people in power are conspiring against you, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like, what do you think people with power do? You don't think they plan? You don't think they plan to hold on to that power? It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. And then they call you mental when you point out the blindingly obvious. Ian, I think you're new. I think you said something a bit silly at first, but let's give you a chance. I have been reading lots on the Napoleonic era. Why is it that today we view them as so behind the times, yet behavior, expectation, courtesy, and general humanity, even between enemies, was better? Yeah, very, very interesting. I agree with everything you said there. And then I would also throw in that all of history is a lie and, you know, you're just reading a story. And actually, and that doesn't mean, you know, there might be some accuracy and, you know, a guy called Napoleon might have lived, all these wars might have happened, maybe. I'm not saying they didn't, but just, you know, once you realize how much present day is a lie, then you're not going to trust history, his story. Yeah. And then when you look into Tartaria, and then there's also a really interesting, what's the Christian one? Oh, I can't remember, but there's, you know, the only Christians that ask questions, they get to a place of Millennial Kingdom, I think it's called, or something like that, of realizing that there's 1,000 years that's either added or missing. I think added. So it's the Dark Ages. The reason they're called the Dark Ages is because they didn't really happen, and the information is dark because they didn't happen. I forget what that one's called. But forget that. Tartaria is more than enough to know that all of history is a lie. However, I agree with what you're saying about the way we're told people were then, but, you know, it's all just his story, so don't hold it all lightly. Lowe said in his video to Farage the other day that he needs, oh, he did say it, did he? Halal and kosher to be banned. Was that one of his 5 things? I mean, halal, for sure. The argument against it is animal welfare. Yeah, I mean, really, I don't think Rupert Lowe is worried about animal welfare. I mean, of course, I don't think he enjoys animals being, you know, he seems like a pretty, I mean, obviously he's one of them, so. But just speaking from this level, he seems like a very moral, decent man. So I'm sure he doesn't like animals being tortured. But I think really what it's about, if we're to pretend that the psyop exists, is the halal bit and the whole Muslims taking over England and changing our culture bit. And they'll, but rather than saying that, because that's a lot for the plebs, they'll use the animal welfare argument because that resonates with plebs because they love virtue signaling and they love being, you know, a warrior. Have you seen the latest Pride marches? I couldn't fucking believe this. So when I went to Pride 20 years ago, twice before, you know, I was like, no. It was just very gay. It was just very, it was woke, it was awful. It was kind of before woke. It was just a load of fags in a field having a good time. You know? A load of cigarettes in a field. And it was... Obviously now, like, you know, obviously even then it was not good for society. I'm not saying that Pride 20 years ago had anything of any benefit overall for society. I'm not saying it was a good thing. But you know, as a libtard, if one was a libtard, and so obviously your child should never go to a Pride event even 20 years ago, but you could take your child to a Pride event 20 years ago, like if you were a libtard and obviously a terrible parent. But, you know, it certainly wasn't in danger. It certainly wasn't aggressive. It was all very friendly. And there wasn't the whole tranny thing. Right, so you're going to think that now what I'm going to say is now it's all trannies and disgusting. No, I'm not even talking about that. Like, yes, of course, it's all that. Have you seen the latest chants they do at Pride? I mean, when I went, there weren't even chants. I tried to start a chant. I, as a piss take, started trying to chant, we're queer, we're here, and we don't want to live in fear, just as a bit of a piss take. And they weren't interested in chanting. Now they go through the streets as a Pride march going, Pride is a protest! Pride is a protest! Just with so much anger and so much demonism running through them. And I realized that these people, because obviously it's the same people that go to the Pride, they go to the climate change, they go to the tranny events, they go to the Palestine events. And the tranny, Palestine, and the other one that I just mentioned, and all the others, are protests. And they've got so addicted to protesting, being angry and being demonic, and getting intense dopamine hits through the collectivism that is felt during a protest, that Pride isn't enough for them anymore. Pride doesn't give them dopamine hits anymore. Now, they can still get the dopamine hits by waggling the wing wong in front of kids and trying to convert kids, because really most of them want to stick their woo-woo in the kids, you know, no-go areas. So there's all that playing out. So they still can get dopamine hits there, but they're kind of bored of that now. They've been given the kids, you know, they're basically, you know, PDF fileism is, you know, almost part of their alphabet thing now. And is widely accepted within that community, I think, in the darker edges of it, for sure. So, you know, that's just normal now. So there's not so many dopamine hits there. So now they've had to turn it into a protest so they can get the dopamine hits. So, like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I suppose it makes total sense that that's where it's gone in the end, because that's, you know, where everything's going, just anger and hatred. But to see them making Pride a protest, and that is the only chant, because they're so determined to make it a protest, that's the only thing they're chanting. Pride is a protest. And it's the only way they can give themselves validity, because for them, they've spent so long being angry and being and just living in complete projection and being social justice warriors, angry. That now when they turn up at a Pride and people are just like, yeah, we just want to drink and pants around, they're like, yeah, but we need to shout and be angry. So Pride is now a protest. Justin, thanks for the 5, my man. You're too young to be a dad, aren't you? I'm still waiting to use this super dad sticker. Jack, next time, I know Jack's a dad, so next time he donates, we can use it. Tom, I'm 27. I have 80K saved. Well done, mate. That's fantastic. I make 80K a year. Wow. So presumably to make 80K a year without manifesting it, without being self-employed, you must be selling your soul and you must hate your job. But congratulations, you know, in terms of, you know, that says a lot about your intelligence levels. Do I quit my pleb job and abscond to Southeast Asia, or do I need to save more cash before doing? Oh my God, you've got more than enough. Or do I need to save more cash before doing so? So it sounds to me, mate, that you have a skill set where you could very easily replicate this. It sounds like you're in demand. It sounds like you can get jobs pretty easily. So I see no reason. So first of all, the answer to your question, 80 grand, mate, that's 8 years out here. So you've got 8 years, let's say 7 to be safe. You've got 7 years to work out how to earn 10 grand a year. Now, a man of your abilities and acumen is going to feel he deserves and does deserve more than 10 grand a year. But what I'm saying is you only need to make 10 grand a year out here. So as if you can't, so one, you've got 7 years to pick up enough online work to earn, well, 12 grand a year. Let's say 15 grand a year. To earn just over £1,000 a month. That's small fry for a man of your abilities. Also, you've got 7 years to work out how to make money out here. I mean, well, it's hard to say. You know, you may have, often people who can earn this sort of money in the corporate world aren't entrepreneurs. So you might struggle to create a business out here, but it could be that you're very entrepreneurial. If you're entrepreneurial, mate, you can mop up out here. You know, the competition is, let's just say they're not as experienced at running businesses. You know, some people might bring IQ into it, but, you know, you can just go on experience. So you can absolutely mop up out here. Now, there are, you know, some legal things that make that a bit more difficult, but not so much in Cambodia. So basically, you've got 7 years to work all that out. Now, you're used to, let's just call it fear and scarcity. You're used to having a big amount of money every month, and obviously it scares you to let go of that. So this prospect of time is going to be very new to you. This prospect of freedom and slowing down, and this concept, I should say, of not doing anything for 7 years. But that's not actually what I'm saying, because you'd work it out within the first year. So within the first year, you're either going to be setting something up out here, or you're going to have a little online number that makes you feel safe. Because that's basically what we're talking about. Do you trust? Yeah, it's not safe, it's trust. Do you trust yourself enough? We won't go past self for you, Justin. Do you trust yourself enough to be able to create an income while you're out here? And do you think you can do that in 7 years? Well, if there's any question in there, mate, it's your shadow part speaking. But I don't think there'll even be any doubt there for you. I think you'll just be like, yeah, of course I can do that. Mate, 80 grand is a colossal amount of money in terms of the type of people that come out here. I did it on 5 grand because I trusted and just knew I could make it happen. And mate, there's so many opportunities out here. And the type of people you meet, like, they'll be very inspiring. Everyone out here is an entrepreneur of some sort. And there's a few people who are getting up at 2 in the morning and working all night online. But in general, and there's a few people teaching and stuff like that. But in general, you know, very interesting people out here, high entrepreneurship, lots of opportunity. For a man of your intelligence and ability, it's going to be no problem. And you've got a 7-year buffer. Get yourself out here, mate. Quit that fucking horrendous experience you must be having every day. You've done it. You've put the work in, you've got to 27 and you've achieved it, you've done it. Well done. Now, reward yourself. Don't keep fucking putting yourself through that. Fantastic, Justin. I look forward to meeting you in St. Week. Well done, brother. Well fucking done. I don't know about this. It was interesting to see a video on the Bank of England funding the Australian painter. Yeah, I was pretty sad when I realised that the conspiracy was actually a conspiracy, that the psyop was actually a psyop. So I was really enjoying loving this man. And I was really enjoying stating that he was a hero that tried to save the world. And then I realised, oh no, that was all a show too, and he was one of them too. That was a very disappointing day. I really like to think that at one stage there was a good man who got to power, but no, it's never happened. All part of the show. And think how easy it was then. Now, I'm not saying lots of people didn't lose their lives. Of course they did. So I'm talking about World War II now. But, you know, did we even have TVs then? So people were getting their information over radio. Like, how easy would it be to be like, and now the Germans are bombing. Oh, 50,000 people have just died. You know, like, we have no idea what happened. It was all a show. Okay, so Sarah and her demonic relationship. Update. Point is, he won't. He hates watches your videos, never watches your live streams. I do. Oh, okay, cool. That's fine then. Slag him off all you want. I mean, my God, if he hate watching my videos, he must be a horrendous human being. My God. So why is he embarrassed that he hate watches my videos? So does he know that hate watching is for sad bastards and he wants to pretend he doesn't do it? Or is he so judgmental of me that the idea of someone even seeing him watching this far-right racist content is just too much for him? Like, which one was it? Let's assess his insanity and laugh at it. Careful, cat, you are moments away from another bollocking there. Oh, bless his desperate man. I just love watching you. He woke up and called you a gay bastard because I was giving you attention. This is a safe place. Well, I'm really glad you feel that way. Yeah, it is. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because many people would refer to me as unsafe because I'm not a people pleaser, but actually it is safe because I call out the retards and I help the retards that are trying. Yeah, he'll hate you giving any attention to anything. This is why he's jealous of your son, because, I mean, he's a broken little boy, basically. He probably has mother issues. Has he got a bad relationship with his mum? Because it sounds like he's basically made you his mum. Now, this could be a projection based on my childhood. I need more information to be sure, but to be jealous of your son is about your attention, and he doesn't know how to get your attention because now the kinky side of your relationship is worn off. Like, there's only so long you can get off on that without any real connection. So now, you know, he used to get all your attention by tying you up and slapping you around, but presumably that's all died down. So he doesn't know how to get your attention, hence him being jealous of your son, who automatically gets your attention because you're a mother, obviously. For any man to be jealous of that bond is just despicable, absolutely despicable. So yes, of course, he'll be jealous that you are listening to an actual man, even though he does take penis in his ass, is 10 million times the man that that little child that you're dating is. Justin back in with a 5, but fucking hell, and as if Justin's going to notice a 5, and no wonder he's so generous on his 80 G's a year. Fuck me. Thanks for the advice, mate. I'm mulling Cambodia, Thailand, or Indonesia. Why do you prefer Cambodia? So energetically, Cambodia is very different to the other two. The other two have sold their soul. The other two have gone in my opinion, have gone too far down the tourism route. So, of course, there's benefits to that. There's 5-star hotels, top quality gyms. Bali's facilities are outrageous. If you want top Western facilities, then Bali and Thailand are going to provide that in abundance. But you're going to get, you know, the downside of over-tourism too. Cambodia is just feels more authentic and real to me. It's a lot calmer. I like the fact that hedonistic expats don't come here. I like the fact that the more pleb end of refugees, expats, go to Thailand or Bali. Siam Reap is just so special. The energy here is very different to anywhere in Southeast Asia. Anywhere else in Southeast Asia is way more chilled out. The people are way more friendly. The people are less scammy, certainly than Thailand. Thailand's very scammy. And that's not just based on my experiences. You know, anyone who lives out here for a long time will tell you that. Cambodia is much more honest. I much prefer it. However, if you like the city, if you like flashing lights, if you like noise, if you like hedonism, then Cambodia might not be stimulating enough for you. I mean, what I would say, mate, with that sort of money is just check them all out. You know, spend your first 2 years traveling, like forget the 7-year thing, make it 4 years. It depends how confident you are in yourself, how much in fear you are, how much in scarcity and story and lack programming you are. So when I first went to Thailand with quite a big pot of money, I was very much in lack and scarcity, and I was like, I have to make this last for the rest of my life. I chose to do that by trying to create a business and totally fucked it up and lost it all. And look, I'm still out here and I'm living my best life ever. So it's all a story. So you might find you'll probably come out here with a right, I'm going to spend this amount a month and it's going to last me for this many years, just like I did. But actually, I think you either know now or you will come to know that you can make money whenever you want, man. Like you don't earn 80 grand a year at 27 if you don't have a strong ability to make money wherever you are, whenever you want. Even if that is just by employment, even if you you haven't met yourself deeply enough and fallen in love with yourself enough to realize that you can create your own money. A man of your ability, even if it's through employment, will definitely be able to create money. So I would say, forget the 7-year thing. Just know you've got a nice buffer. Don't fucking put loads of boundaries on yourself. Travel around for 2 years and experience it all. Because what the programmed Westerner wants to do, who's lived in the hometown all their life and has had stability all their life, they want to research on the internet and find the best place to live and go and live there and put all their eggs in that basket and rent the long-term house and do it cheaply because they're scared and they don't trust that they can create any more money. So I would really try and lean I would really try and feel that fear if that's there for you and get past it and enjoy the fruits of your labor and travel around for 2 years. And work out where is best for you. But yeah, for me, Cambodia is the best by a mile. However, Ubud is very special in Bali. That's really worth seeing and experiencing. And if you like the fine things in now, if you're very hedonistic, like you like substances, then I would not recommend Bali. Yeah, you're taking a massive risk out there. And on paper, you are anywhere in Southeast Asia if you like substances. But Bali is way stricter and less ways of. You're going to be in jail for a lot longer in Bali. So yeah, it depends how hedonistic you are. And so in Bali, there is in Ubud. I'm only talking about Ubud when I talk about Bali. There is, a bar scene and a club scene, but it's not massive. If drinking alcohol and you want to shag lots of pretty Asian women, then absolutely Phuket or Chiang Mai. But if you're not so hedonistic, I would consider Cambodia. Hi Tom, how's the cat's cough? So bad with any sort of F sound. Get them both a treat. Thank you so much, Michelle. So I've got really good news on this. I was really worried yesterday. So basically it's got to 6 or 7 days, and obviously I'm going through this whole responsibility thing at the moment where I'm realizing basically I have very little responsibility and I'm very selfish and don't look after anything or anything around or anyone around me. And then I've also got this whole, knowledge around pharmaceuticals and lack of respect for anyone that went to university and got brainwashed and think that they're some sort of doctor or vet when all they do is push pharmaceuticals. Then I've also got laziness issues, heat issues, practical issues around not having a cat carrier. So a lot of resistance to going to the vet. However, my beautiful little kitten, who is my world and is very small and very delicate, has been coughing for 7 days now. So last night she got onto my chest and she coughed 4 times in a row in my face. And I was like, oh, this is clearly the universe, you know, me, God, saying, self, I should say, this is clearly part of the responsibility lesson I'm going through right now, which is very intense and happening in many ways. So this is clearly linked to that. I need to take this cat to a vet. So last night I basically accepted that today was going to be a nightmare, that I was going to have to go to a vet. And as soon as I accepted that and took responsibility, she stopped coughing. Right, the last 3 days she lost her voice, so she hasn't been able to meow for 3 days. So she keeps doing this in my face. No noise comes out. So last night I accepted we were going to the vets today. I get up this morning. Nah, nah, nah. She's meowing again, and she's not coughing. She's got her meow back. Oh, we were very happy to hear that scratchy little meow, weren't we? Yes, we were. Oh, yes, we were. So I think we're all good. But it's interesting how it happened like after I took responsibility. Right, what should we buy the cats for this $4.99? I think I'm gonna lean into something that I'm quite resistant to. So I'm gonna buy an electric mouse for them. Like well, you know what that is. I don't need to explain that, do I? It's £4. $4. I almost bought it when, oh, hello, yes, I know. When I went to the pet shop the first time, I was just like, are they really gonna play with it? But yeah, I think it could be really cool. Oh, remote control mouse, that's what I'm trying to say. It could be really cool to have them chasing this thing around. And I think they'll love it. I didn't realize how playful cats are. Now the other thing, I might do this today actually. I need to check with Hippie Landlord that I can put, I'm just gonna say to him, can I put some shelves up on the wall? Right, so I found baskets and all sorts. I haven't seen the price yet, but they're gonna be so cheap. So basically I'm thinking I'd buy a scratching post for the wall, and then I get shelves and cover them in carpet and have them like at angles and stuff that they can jump on. And then I have these baskets like at the end of these shelves that they can chill in. So I suppose it will go towards my cat maze, which I'm not expecting to cost too much money. The scratching post is going to be about $20. But then everything else, I'm just going to try and get like scrap wood for and stuff. So I think the only other real cost will be the labor, which will be $10, maybe $20. So I'm thinking I'm going to get all the stuff together, but then it would be quite nice to add to it as I learn and see how they play on it. But, you know, I was thinking like you could end up with like, I mean, it could be fucking amazing. Little platforms for them to jump on and stuff. So I'm going to get like a good chunk of it. I'm going to get like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different items, different shelves, different baskets, and start with that, because I don't want to be getting the tradesman out over and over again. Like I want him to just come and bosh it and then maybe come back in 6 months and add some more. That's my thinking. But I need to check with Hippie Landlord first. But I'll have the chat with Hippie Landlord, and I'm sure he'll say yes. He's very chilled out. And then I'll go and put your $5 towards buying the baskets and the shelves and the carpeting and all that. It's going to be an interesting little project, actually. Oh, wow. She still watches every minute. Okay, I'm going to go and poo. And then we'll get back, and then we'll come back to London. Okay, see you in 3 minutes. Do you need more fish? More fish already? Really? You're very demanding. The pussy that likes the pussy. Fish. It's super more for sure. Wow! Surprisingly solid. Lots of little keg nuts. That's what that was. Lots of little keg nuts. So lots of little solid but slightly squishy ones. We call them keg nuts. But not the gushing waterfall I was expecting. Because the first one this morning was very soft. So I was expecting the second one to basically just be a waterfall. Oh, that was quite pleasant. Quite pleasant. Oh, it smelled bad. But I like that. Because I'm a kinky fucker. Lozzie Loza, Lonnie Loza, loving. Yeah, that's still the case. The only content I might not have seen are parts of some lives, but I try to play them back. If I tell you where I've been tonight, I fear that you will call me demonic. You've got to tell us, Lovin. You've got to tell us. And yes, I'm going to call you demonic. And yes, it's fine. It's, you know, as long as we can acknowledge that our actions aren't aligned and we have an intention for them to change and we're open to doing the work that will change those, then it all transforms. So I know where you're at in life, and I know you still have to take part in some demonic rituals to survive. That's fine. I mean, you work for a council or something horrendous, don't you? So I don't think I'll judge you for it. I'll just point out the repression in it with love. So tell us. I demand that you tell us. I've given you a lot, Lauren. Come on. I've given you many, many hours of self-escapism. I demand that you tell us where you've been. Mickey, get a laser pen, red dart. They chase the dart. Yeah, they're good. Oh yeah, they've seen that. They love that. CT7? Now, should CT7 now be called CT6? Did he lose one of his lives the other day with the dog incident? He obviously had a very lucky escape. So is that classed as losing as one of his 9 lives? Is he now CT6? I don't want to do that though, because it's inevitable we'll get to a point where it's CT2 and CT1, and then I'm calling in fate, aren't I? So he'll always be CT7. Forget that. Yeah, thanks, Mickey. I will seek out a laser pen. I'm sure I'll be able to find one out here. Wow, very generous tonight. Chantha Blogs, I think you're new. Thank you, Chantha. Are you Indian? Hi, Tom. A house you're interested to rent. It's really nice for £600 a month. You have a house I might be interested in renting. I'm really happy where I am. It would have to be a very special house for me to leave here. And the issue is they're going to want me to sign a 6-month contract. So I'm more than happy for you to email me details. And you'll find my email in the description of my videos, not my live streams though. But I don't think I'm really that bothered. I'm so happy, mate. I'm just so happy here. It's so easy, no contracts. super chilled out landlord. Lovely premises, lovely grounds, pretty quiet. I'm looking at, I'm just looking at green right now, and that's great. I'm really happy here. I can't see how obviously I'd like a garden. And I would like to never hear anyone, but I don't think that's really possible in Cambodia. But I could cut out the neighbors' noises, but they're so few and far between. Like, yeah, there was a domestic the other night that was noisy. But unless something extreme like that is happening, I don't hear anyone. Now, this could all change when someone moves into that flat next door. Because we don't know how good. If you're a keen viewer, then you'll know that I used to live on the other side of this apartment, and there's a gap in the ceiling there. So if people are living side by side here, you could hear them sneezing. And they filled the gap in because I complained about it, obviously. I was the first one that had the balls to say anything about it out of all the people that have lived here before. Unbelievable. And they filled it in with foam, but we don't know how effective it is yet. Me and Jeff did a little test, but I don't know, whether that was good enough. So it could be that somebody moves in there and all this changes. Now, I'm hoping Helen will move in there because she doesn't like music. But if someone who moves in there who plays music, it could all change tomorrow. I mean, in that case, I'd go back to my other flat. But, what if somebody rents my old place, then someone rents the one next door to me and they're noisy, then I'm screwed. So then I would have to start searching for houses. But I think until somebody moves in there that's not Helen, then I'm just going to stay here. But if it is a really amazing house, then, well, put the link into the chat maybe and we can bring it up. That'd be really cool. Or email me. Also, are you a Cambodian estate agent that's just paid $5 to tell me that? I very much doubt it. But the name is kind of Shant. I mean, I don't know about Cambodian names, but I feel like that could be a Cambodian name. I also feel like it could be an Indian name. Tell us more about you, Shantha. Lipsis. Lipsis is in the house with some love. Looking forward. Actually, I won't even mention it. Lots of love for Lipsis is all I'll say. If we're talking about Sarah, yes, she does look like a man. She actually has very masculine energy. So did he just say she looks like a man? Laughing my ass off. So yesterday, as soon as I saw, so we're talking about this one. As soon as I saw her, I said she looked like a lesbian. And then as she told us more about her demonic co-addiction, we found out that she is the man in her relationship. So of course she looks like a lesbian because she has masculine energy. So yes, she does look like a man. And yes, I did say that. And yes, you'll get used to that the more you get on the stream. I just say what's true. Yes, I get that, but this chat is limited characters. Yes, I get that, but this is a chat with limited characters. Oh, sorry, that was Tawari. Right? Yeah, I'm not meant to understand that. Also, so this is the masculine woman we're talking about, who I have a lot of love and respect for. I'm not attacking this person in any way. I think they're great. Also, that's an old photo when I was definitely a lefty. Here you go. Before I met my partner, so fair point, I do look like a lesbian. Yeah, it's the masculine energy. You've had to be masculine to survive. It's not your fault. And now you've got into a relationship with a little boy who's feminine. He probably doesn't present femininely, but energetically he's feminine. So I imagine he presents like this because he's so scared of his lack of masculinity and knows that he's feminine on a subconscious level. So therefore he goes to the gym a lot to try and counteract that, because what he can't do is the real masculine stuff, which is taking accountability and being responsible. He can't do any of that because he's a little boy. So he does it by getting big muscles in the gym instead. Like that Ray guy would, like this guy would. It's exactly what this guy would do. Clever. Absolute retard. So, yes, you look like a lesbian. Yes, we've confirmed that. I would be surprised if you've got any more feminine since meeting your man, as you have to be his father. Paul! Yes, Paul. Hello, mate. What's the name of the song you ended? Almost Died video released today. Almost Died. Oh, I don't know. It's an AI song. Debbie would have created it. Ask Debbie if she can send it you or anything like that. If it's not my standard AI song, then it'll be a Debbie song. So this is who you need to speak to. Paul, have you watched my Tom Greatrex video today? It includes your amazing comment. Tom, what makes you think you've got wisdom to share? Well, my experience, my wisdom, the clear impact I have on people through my wisdom and my experience. It's not, it's a tangible thing. It's a real thing. And it's based on how much self-work you've done and how deeply you've gone internally. Now, relative to humanity, I've gone very deep and I have a lot of wisdom, and that's very clear. If you can't see that, it's because you're so repressed and living in such delusion that wisdom to you is scary, because it shatters your fragile concept of reality and self. So obviously, it's much easier for you to make out that I don't have any wisdom, but clearly I do. Like there's no debate here. So it's just obvious, and I'm just honest, whereas you're not. That's the difference. And now I'm going to make demands of you, not because I really want to know what the shadow is. I want to expose you for not really knowing. Fuck off, you fucking pleb. Josh, thank you, Tom. I do worry what others think of me. It's something I wish I could. Yeah, of course, everyone does. Until you do a lot of self-work. And you're at the start of that journey, bro. You still think that we're spinning around upside down and stuff like that. So, of course you are. But that's why you need to lean into it and experience it and realize that actually there's nothing to fear. And the worst case scenario is I don't like you. Oh no, who cares? That's not going to happen. Mate, I would have so much respect for you if you come here. So much respect for you. What up, guys? Quieten. However, I assume I need to love myself more. Yeah, of course. That's what it's all about. So you, when you're not confident in yourself, when you're not in love with yourself, of course, the opinions of people matter to you, because that's how you judge yourself. You base your character on how popular you are or what other people think of you. This is how society lives. That's why everyone's a narcissist. That's why everyone's trying to manipulate others, because they care so much about what others think about them. So therefore, they have to control that. Whereas once you let all that go and realize that everyone's retarded and is living in complete projection, and none of it matters. And yeah, sure, like there can be worthwhile reflections in others' words, but that doesn't mean that the majority of it isn't just projection and their own pain. And once you realize that, it's very freeing, very freeing. Fallen angels is biblical, Tom. I thought you didn't believe in that. Well, yeah, this is where it gets quite complex, doesn't it? Because I think there's a lot of truth in the Bible. And I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that some things did fall from the sky. And I think it's very clear that non-humans are in control here currently. But it's all stories. It's all guesswork. So I think that, for example, I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that Noah's Ark was a thing. There's definitely, I mean, for me, there's not even a question on whether or not there was a flood. Like, that's very geographically provable, scientifically provable. So yeah, I have no problem with using references from the Bible for truth. But what I believe the Bible is, obviously it's written by them and it comes from that lands. It's nothing to do with this country or these people or our heritage or our DNA. We're pagans. So it's really interesting that the US government is really attacking pagans right now. So I think the Bible is a lot of truth that's been manipulated and used to put people into shame and fear and therefore make them controllable. But that doesn't mean that the events in the Bible aren't possibly true. You dig, Riley? I'll dig you. 23andMe test kits are sent to China to be analyzed there, put in a central computer so the CCP can develop targeted bioweapons against you and yours. I think Roz has just nailed it, man. I think there's also the bloodline stuff as well. But I think this, I've never heard this before, but that to me sounds like a crazy conspiracy theory. I can't believe we've got these crazy people on this chat. Oh my God, that's a crazy conspiracy theory. Nice one. That resonates with me. You are still so unbelievably about the external, it's unreal. Anyone washing their laundry in public are such a narcissist hypocrites. I leave my house once a week through necessity. Oh, I think he means wash, as in I'm open and honest. Definitely not a narcissist hypocrite, but there is definitely some self-sabotage in there and some, yeah, it's like I protect myself through shocking people. Like I'll shock you so much that you just won't come near me. So there's definitely some psychological stuff in there, but to make it all negative and, you know, I mean, my God, like what an unconscious individual. Yeah, so you could offer that could have been a very wise reflection if you didn't do it with hatred and projection. And obviously lack of self-worth and lack of self-love. Scotland last year, March time, wildfires in Scotland. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? How they're expecting Scots to fall for that? We need our heating on full blast till May. Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. It's absolutely insane. But some of them are, right? Look at him trying to. I mentioned he goes, yeah, I did look like a lesbian. Like, so this is somebody who can only perceive from his level of perception. So this man gets very easily offended because he's very egoic and hasn't met himself and lives in the mind of others. So what people say about him means a lot to him because what he thinks of himself means nothing to him. He doesn't even have that concept. He'll intellectually pretend he has that concept, but he's never met himself. Poor lass, now she's an energy vampire. Sarah, how do you feel about being called a lesbian vampire with masculine energy by the host? She's just like, yeah, I love it. He's dead right. And he's like, oh. Because he's never experienced anyone that can take accountability. He's never experienced anyone that's open and vulnerable like Sarah is. Anyone who's actually striving for better. He's only ever met other narcissists and plebs like him who all have a false identity of self and live completely in the external and completely in projection and hatred. This man is really, really dire. A really dire human being. No fun to be around, no authenticity, no honesty, no openness, complete judgment and projection. I don't think he's got a low IQ as well, so he'll be one of the worst ones because the ego uses the IQ. A vile human being, really vile human being, like just the worst of the worst. I'm so glad that people like this aren't in my life. I'm so glad I don't have to be around people like this because I'm an enslaved office worker. Because you end up being around people like this. Fucking disgusting, like really disgusting human being. I think this one's disgusting as well. I'll give Lee some credit. He's got a clue, but he isn't. Oh wow, you'll give Lee some credit. The vaccinated office worker, like who the fuck do you think you are? Like, how can you think your opinion matters to anyone in this chat? How do you think you can judge Lee? You're a fucking spaz. Lee is a god. Well, Lee is a god. We're all gods, but Lee knows he's a god. Look at you little fucking slug on the floor giving your opinion on Lee. Fuck off. 7, we're human with flaws. We act out. We can all be energy vampires. Are you listening, Ray? Are you listening to somebody who's authentic and vulnerable and real? This is the opposite of you, Ray. And you projected your stagmentation onto Sarah. You projected your repression onto Sarah. You assumed, it didn't even occur to you that she wouldn't be mortified because you would be. And you can only perceive from your crap level of perception. Your very low, baby soul, pathetic, scumbag level of perception. So Sarah is displaying to you how wrong your projections are. Will you be able to see it? Probably not, because you're a fucking spaz. We can all be energy vampires in the right mood, but knowing he'll never see these comments means it just got me. Hence cathartic. Most free I've been in a while. Oh dear, Ray, what are you going to do now? What are you going to project now, Ray? What bullshit are you going to make up now? You fucking cunt. If you were such a good person, your mum would never see you beg. God, the judgment in this man is unbelievable. The repression in this man is unbelievable. The desire to attack another and not offer any reflections in good faith is unbelievable. He has no desire to help me. He has no desire to help me be a better person. He wants to do me down because then if he drags me down to his level, he's like the crab in the bucket, pulling the one that's trying to escape. then he doesn't have to look at himself. The eyes of Adam, yeah, they're well open, aren't they, mate? You're so open, you're so conscious. He thinks he's conscious. Bless him, man. These fucking plebs that think they're conscious. At least Ray isn't pretending he's conscious because he doesn't even have a concept of conscious. Whereas Adam thinks he's conscious, bless him. Oh my God, what a retard. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. So funny. But also just like, oh God, so boring. These people bore the shit out of me. But luckily they're not in my world. They're just in the comment section. Wow. Oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to pretend to like fucking twats. I'm so glad I'm free. Can you imagine if this was your work colleague and you had to fucking spend 40 hours a week with him? Oh, and you couldn't tell him he's a cunt. Oh. Ban all slaughter and go to lab grown, which I don't wish to participate in. Oh, I think you're saying that's what they want to do. Oh, yeah, good point. So that's where the Rupert Lowe stuff goes to, doesn't it? It's the start of that. Yeah, you're dead right. It's not about animal welfare. It's about banning all meat. And it's getting people used to that. Good stuff. Shanta. I was in Siem Reap last year and checked into a hotel the time I was told, but the room wasn't ready. I made a fool of myself by yelling at the front desk clerk in Cambodia. Life is relaxed and no rush. Yeah. I mean, I've so been there, mate. They have no concept of anger. I mean, obviously, I'm exaggerating a bit, but you know, like so when I was shouting at the women in the restaurant, exactly the same as this. Just ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous on every level, but we'll just focus on the bit that you brought up where it's just not like, you know, when I was like, I can't wait 15 minutes, you know, the truth was that I didn't have enough patience and willingness to sit with myself for 15 minutes. I wasn't working. I mean, I was working, but, you know, I was editing videos. So the truth was I was so conditioned into English ways, you know, now, rush, that just felt abhorrent to me and totally unacceptable. But of course, that was just my conditioning and my repression. Of course, 15 minutes is fine. Of course, shouting at people over a failed delivery is just ridiculous. Of course, you shouting at but then at the same time, I can understand from your Western perspective, like you said the room will be ready at this time. I'm tired. I've been traveling. This isn't fucking good enough. And I can understand it. But also what you say here is more true, that, you know, in Cambodia, you just relax and you don't rush and like, what you're getting angry for, it's Cambodia, like what you're rushing for. There's nothing to rush to. I mean, I guess if you're here for 3 days and you want to see all the sights, maybe, but just, no, we're not doing that in Cambodia, basically. You're dead right, mate. I really like that. Thanks for sharing. Soul cutter, you can't cut a face off in one piece. It's medically impossible because of the connective tissues to the skin. So soul cutter is offering evidence for why the Killary video might not be true. Is that right? So just this area here, you couldn't cut that off? So you're saying that like this is attached to tissue underneath? You know, that does sound pretty legit. Would they not have found a way to get past that? Would there not be certain tools you can use? Yeah, interesting point. I would love to be wrong about all this stuff, man. Honestly, I would love to be wrong. I'm so open to being wrong. No. You're not chewing the laptop, mate. CT7 is obsessed with his laptop. He loves rubbing against it, and now he seems to be trying to chew it. So I don't know if he rubs against it just to get my attention, or if it's like the sharp edges that he likes. If I start stroking him, would he stop? No, not really. I think he genuinely likes the feeling of the laptop. But claws on the screen. No, you can't bite me. Claws on the screen is too much, mate. Thanks for sharing that, Soul Cutter. Thanks for offering another perspective. Why? Can you just imagine the terror in the poor kid? It breaks my heart, and I generally couldn't sleep at night. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you watched it, right? Like, oh my God. I think the first video on this sort of touching upon these realms, although nowhere near as bad, was it Ken Bigley, the beheading, that went all around the internet? I couldn't really watch that one either. I mean, so now I'm at the point where I would just never even, you know, I love and honor myself way too much to even click on any of these videos. But there was a time where I thought I wanted to see this sort of thing. If it, yeah, it is the most horrific thing that's ever been videoed, I think, if it's real. There is no way of knowing, though. I mean, Soulcut makes a really good point. Like, so I've basically spoken as if this is a fact for many years. It isn't. And I'm not saying, you know, if I had to gamble, I would say I think it's real. But we don't know. And the more I realize that everything is a psyop and that there is no disclosure, there's no exposing truth, there's just what they let out, the stories they tell. So really all they want is division. Well, telling us stories like that is a great way of causing division because it really incites people. So it makes people like us very extreme and very non-accepting of liberalism, because liberalism in our mind supports this sort of behavior, or allows at the very least this sort of behavior. And then of course the liberals can't even comprehend that level of, you know, they can't take any information in, that they can't literally see, like they can't gather evidence or anything like that, or notice patterns or even read statistics. And they also have no desire to do any of those things. So then they obviously think we're all crazy, so the division just, so it's probably all just a big psyop. But also doesn't mean that it's not happening. This is 100% Google or AI it for doctors explaining it's not possible to remove a face in one piece. I imagine you're actually correct. I mean, asking AI is obviously pointless. Is it possible to remove the skin of someone's face in one piece? Don't worry, I'm not planning on anything. I'm researching Aztecs and old sacrifices. And we are shown in movies that they used to remove the skin off people's faces. Is that possible, or would there be too much tissue connected and you wouldn't be able to remove it all in one piece? Please tell me the answer now. Yes, it is anatomically possible to remove the skin off a human's face and body in a single piece. I mean, didn't Ed, the serial killer in Ed Gaines, maybe, something like that, in America do it? So we're told. And historical accounts, including those regarding Mesoamerican rituals, such as dedicated Aztecs, describe the process. From a biological and surgical perspective, here is how it works and why it's possible. The subcutaneous plane, human skin, sits on top of a layer of subcutaneous flat and connective tissue. Beneath that layer lies the muscle of facial expression and the facial bones. There is a natural, relatively loose cellular plane between the skin fat and the muscles. So it looks like you're wrong, Soulcut. So we're back to Hillary being a demonic demon. Tom, you said you owned 4 properties at one point. I love how they say you said as if I might be lying. Like, because they would lie. Because they've never achieved or owned anything, so therefore they make up bullshit like this. And they can only assume that somebody who achieved so much would be lying because they have no concept of achieving. Bless them. Owned 4 properties at one point. So how did you acquire them? Oh, okay, sorry, maybe I went a bit too harsh. Maybe it is a genuine question. I really need to read the questions before I rip people apart. Sorry about that. How did you acquire the money? Was it through your doggy daycare mainly and selling big bags of herbs? I mean, I was making 100 grand a year by 17 selling herbs. My parents and granddad gave me my first deposit, which was 20,000. This was back in, oh, right, so this is the other thing. You got to remember, Self-cert mortgages, do you even know what they are? I don't know how old you are. So when I bought maybe all of my properties, but certainly the first few, you could just self-cert a mortgage. So you could sign a bit of paper saying, I am self-employed, I earn, and you could write whatever number you wanted. I used to write 75,000. £75,000 a year, I signed to certify this. And you'd get a mortgage on that. So it was very easy. So my first house was a 20 grand deposit and a mortgage I got given because I signed a bit of paper saying I earned 75 grand a year. And then the dog crash made loads of money. And the big house that I built that I sold to a Premier League footballer, I put all that through the business. So, basically didn't pay for it. Obviously, that's just a story and it's not really true, but I like entertaining people with made up stories. So that all went through the business. So what was the first house was Marmion Road. That was a 20 grand deposit. Was the second house Cliff Farm Drive? Yeah, the second house was the big one that I made a lot of money on. And then I bought 2 HMOs that I'd never seen before, and I bought them off some horrible scammy company. And they were a disaster. I lost loads of money on those. I lost money in terms of a value. I got scammed. I was stupid. I bought houses without looking at them. Aspire Properties, they were called. Never use Aspire Properties. I heard them on a podcast and they spoke a really good game and I thought they were legit. So I just fucking chucked a load of money at them and bought 2 HMO, 3. I had 3. Now I did sell did I sell the big house to do that? I can't quite remember. I owned 5 houses over a period of 10 years, but how many I owned at once, I can't quite remember. It might have actually been so I think I sold a big house to buy the 3 HMOs. And that's when I started buying Bitcoin, of which all I've lost now. But at one point I had quite a bit of Bitcoin. And so I sold the big house and I ended up with 3 HMOs, 1 in Oldham and 2 in Tamworth. Oh my God, Tamworth is such an awful place. So I ended up having to go to Tamworth because of these properties eventually. I was gobsmacked by how awful Tamworth is. Like, it's just such a nothing place, such a soulless place. I think it's like not MK Dons, like Milton Keynes, where I think it's a new town. Oh, horrendous. I remember saying to a 16-year-old girl who was working in B&Q, like, what do you do here? And she'd probably never left Tamworth before, so she was a bit gone out. And I can't remember how it came up, but I said the line, Tamworth is shit. And she looked at me, gone out, like as if, oh my God, that's insulting. Like, how dare you say something that's true? Like every normie would. And she kind of challenged me as much as a 16-year-old girl can. But, she was expressing displeasure. And I went, well, what do you do here? And she just went, you could see sort of a penny drop. And she was like, oh yeah, nothing. There's nothing to do. There's just houses and roundabouts. There's nothing else. And then big B&Qs and stuff like that. It's just horrendous. I can't tell you how bad Tamworth is. So I had, then I had my original house as well, I think, at this point. Or maybe I sold that. Maybe I only had 3 at my peak. I can't remember. It was either 3 or 4. And Tamworth is shit, basically. That's the moral of the story. Right, I'm going to really try and commit to reading comments before I comment back. Reading the whole comment before I comment back. That was something that Lee picked up on. As if a doctor would need a sick video like that to prove anything. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So I think this is Riley talking to Soul Cutter, and it turned out it was ridiculous. So yes, well done, Riley. Once again, Riley has, as far as I'm aware, Riley has never been wrong in anything she's said. She's never said anything I disagree with. She's never said anything that's questionable. And she's always been right with every statement she's ever made. I think Riley's amazing. I'm only messing about, Tom. Lol. Have a good night, mate. I'm off to bed. I don't know who you are, mate. It's not really relevant to me, but that's fine. Thanks for being nice. If you were nasty before, I'm not going to remember it. Tom, you should do a Tartaria channel. Oh, no way. I'm nowhere near knowledgeable enough. You know, my knowledge is terrible. So I'm not good at details. I'm not, you could say, patient enough, or maybe interested enough. I think it's patient enough, maybe intelligent enough as well, to do in-depth videos on things. Like I just speak about the overview. It's like the other day I was saying, I might stop English Refugee and make it more of a travel vlogger video that's channel that's got lots of information in it. And then I was like, I can't do that. That's not what I do, because that's very time consuming and it's very boring. Like I'm just fun and flow. So I don't really know anything about anything. I don't have any, other than shadow work, I haven't dedicated myself to any subjects. I'm not an expert in anything other than shadow work. And yeah, I know nothing about Tartaria. And I don't have the patience or the desire or the desperation to be a YouTuber or an expert in an area, other than shadow work, an expert in an area enough to put myself through the learning it would take just so I could impress some plebs. And obviously I don't really mean plebs, because people watching that aren't plebs, but just so I should say others, just so I could impress others. But that's all ego. I'm not interested in impressing others. I know I'll impress others by being the man I am, or the man I'm becoming, certainly. And for me, once you discover shadow work, why would you spend any time researching anything else other than, you know, just have a basic understanding? For me, it's of the ego to do that. So I'm definitely not able to do that and don't have the desire to do that. Soul Cutter, you're not doing very well tonight, mate. Try again. Let's see if you can do any better this time. CPC, there haven't been face transplants. They graft skin. Yeah, I think Soul Cutter might be a bit of a pleb. I'm calling BS on that. All right, no one cares what you think. You're irrelevant. You're a nobody. I never lie. I may lie to myself sometimes. Through the shadow, through the blind spots, and therefore I would speak mistruths for my own misunderstanding, for my own misalignment. But I never deliberately lie. I don't need to. I have nothing to prove. I've smashed life. What are you talking about? You're projecting that because you live a life of lies. Also, you're completely insignificant and no one cares what you think. No one said about taking skin off dead people. That's the last comment on skin masks for me. Yeah, I think that's the best, mate. You're chatting shit. C-plebs, I have Googled it. You should too. They do not do skin grafts. They take the face, lips, all, and put it on a person. Yeah, so I think he's talking about something completely different, isn't he, C-plebs? C-plebs will, because he is chief of the plebs, hence the name C-plebs. C-plebs will deal with this swiftly and accurately. Cheers, Richard. Much appreciated, mate. Just accept you're wrong, Soul Cutter. Just accept you're wrong. It's fine. It's okay to be wrong. You don't need to keep lying to yourself because you're so scared of being seen as wrong by other people who don't matter. Just accept you're wrong and grow and be a better person. Sorted. No issues, no judgment, no self-shame. Just growth. We grow by being wrong. And of course, Riley agrees with C-plebs because they're two of the best people in the chat. Now, didn't I have some questions for someone? Like Lauren had to answer a question. Lauren, don't you pussy out. Where have you been? Where in the demonic hell have you been? Justin needs to tell us how we earn all that dosh. Well, you don't just because he does. He does it because he's very intelligent and has been willing to sell his soul. It doesn't mean you can do it. I can't do that. I can't earn 80 grand a year working for someone else. There's no way I can do that. Just because he tells me how to do that, it doesn't mean I'll be able to do that. Oh, C-plebs. He's also the chief of a pleb because he's a bit of a pleb. But he is the best pleb. And I love him. Sarah is going to tell us more about her man-child. He thinks he told me the secrets to the universe. Oh, bless him. What a desperate cunt. But he hate watches me. Yeah, not a wise man. So he doesn't like me watching you speaking openly. Oh, yeah, because he wants to control you. I mean, I imagine he's very controlling, right? Because he's a little boy who can't trust. I mean, he gets jealous about you watching a YouTuber. So, my God, like, this man is going to be so controlling. It might make me start free thinking, yeah, outside of him. He feels threatened. Yeah, you're very on it. I don't have anything to add to that. You're spot on. Is he a libtard? Like like when you say secrets of the universe, what does he think his wisdom is? Is he if you just tell me whether or not he's a libtard, that would be a good start. So does he hate watch me because he's jealous of my wisdom that's far superior than his? Or does he hate watch me from a libtard place? It's time. In relation to World War II, it's astonishing how little the plebs join the dots with things like 9/11 when told about the Gleiwitz incident. Don't know that. An official story which proves that World War II began with a false flag. Yeah, totally. Totally. It's amazing, isn't it, that people can be like, can accept, obviously not the total plebs, but there's a lot of people now that accept that we're being lied to right now. Accept we're being lied to right now, but can't apply that to the past. Evolution definitely has to be real. Spinning ball definitely has to be real. World War II, oh, definitely an evil man with a mustache. But COVID was satanic. And the changing of the climates isn't true. But of course, all that's definitely true, even though it's his story. All right, pleb. Look at the projection on this one. They're so disempowered and so retarded and probably stack shelves in Tesco, but they think that I might end up stacking shelves in Tesco. No, mate. I can create my own destiny. I walk to the beat of my own drum. I have been an entrepreneur since the age of 12. I'm not a pleb. I understand you can only perceive from your level of perception. I realize you're very retarded, even though you've got a nice OM as your profile picture. Virtue signal. You're a retard, and you're projecting that onto me. Tom, was your doggy daycare business in the UK started with a loan from mummy and daddy? Yeah, they helped me out. Yeah. So no, it was started actually. So I was a dog walker for 5 years, and I made shitloads of money. I earned about $1,000 a day doing that. So I took on this building with no intentions of needing help from my parents, but I totally underestimated the costs, and I ran out of money. So my parents lent me £40,000 to finish that business off. But I'd already made loads of money myself by the time that happened. So you can't shame me, Gerald, just because you're a pleb who can't create any money. Yes, I have had a lot of help from my parents, but I also did it anyway, and would have done it anyway, and was doing it without them. They made it a bit faster to becoming a millionaire by the age of 30. But then I drank ayahuasca and went on a completely different path. So all of this is irrelevant. And now I'm, an incredibly wise, enlightened guru. So again, doesn't matter, does it? Not relevant to the real stuff that matters, which is the fact I'm an enlightened guru. So your silly little projections and so what you're trying to do here is, rather than look at yourself and why you're so disempowered, retarded, and a slave, you're giving yourself excuses for why you can't do what I've done. You can. You just need to take responsibility and do the work, which you'll never do because it's scary as hell. Debbie, Callie is so cute. She just sat up and checked she was there and went back to sleep. Oh, yeah, she's amazing, man. She's honestly, like, I know everyone thinks their pets are the best in the world. And CT7 is incredible. Like, I think I've got 2 incredible cats, but Callie's outrageous. Callie's just the best. She's amazing. So loving. They're both so loving. Like, they sleep on my bed now, very calmly. Yeah. And here's Kelly. CT7's too chilled. I don't want to disturb him, but she's jumping around, so I don't mind picking her up. But CT7's right here. Responsibility for felines isn't an easy task, but their meows make it worth it. She's so beautiful. I think it's really easy. And they're such easy pets. Like, they basically look after themselves. You just have to feed them and clean up their shit. And their shit is all in one place and very easy to clean. So I think they have to be the easiest animal ever, really. Now she's trying to shame me for pooing. God, how desperate is this pleb? So desperate, man. It's unbelievable, isn't it? So desperate to not meet themselves. So scared of themselves. I wonder why. I wonder what darkness is going on there. You said you would delete the earlier live with email names. It's still there. No, it's not. I've unlisted it. Some people may not be there so happy. I've unlisted it. You shouldn't be able to see it. Oh, shit. Oh, no. That was yesterday's. Unlisted. It's unlisted on Songbase, right? Not today's Satan. Content. Live. Unlisted on Not Today's Satan. Last one is English Refugee. Live. Unlisted. I think you're lying. They're all unlisted. So the only way anyone would see it is if they saved the link in the 17 minutes that it was up, and they now have the link to it. Because I'm not deleting it because it's got donations on it, and I assume I'd lose those. So I'm not deleting it, but I've unlisted it, so it shouldn't be on my YouTube. So I think you've either saved the link or you're just a lying spaz. I think you're a lying spaz. I love Green Tom, and I mean wildlife and plants away from concrete hideous. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, it's just inevitable once you meet yourself, and it's clear that you've met yourself deeply enough to appreciate nature. I would love to leave Ireland and move somewhere like that with Jackson. Okay. But I'm feeling quite tired. I'm getting a bit bored. I think I'm going to end it. Let's just go to the bottom. Sarah, funnily enough, I came more into my feminine once I had a wee boy. Yeah, of course. Perhaps why my partner doesn't respond to it, because he's secretly gay. Yeah, probably. Probably. He liked doing you up the arse, isn't he? Secretly gay. Yeah, probably. I mean, he's very repressed, isn't he? He's clearly got something that really troubles him. So it could well be that. And yeah, you were very masculine, looked like a man, makes a lot of sense. Then you had a child and became more feminine, and presumably that's when the sex stopped. Interesting, very interesting. The mod should have removed it as soon as it's landed. I've not seen anything that I feel should have been removed. I mean, you could say that all these retards, just remove them, but I think it's quite good to psychologically break them down. I think it's, well, I enjoy it. I love ripping people plebs apart. But did I rename this one? Name calling is back with a vengeance. So I think I did. So where I'm at now is, I totally agree. I mean, I know he's right about everything, but I'm ready to walk with not asking people for money. I'm ready for that. But I'm not ready to stop name calling. Name calling is too much fun. And I just think they get what they deserve. But I know ultimately, it comes from my own lack of self-love. And Lee is right. Yeah, he doesn't speak, doesn't sleep very well, can't be in public. Oh my God. And my partner doesn't help. Oh, sorry, you're talking about your child. Sorry, I thought you were talking about your partner. And my partner doesn't help in any way, but tell me what I'm doing wrong. Oh yeah, that's really helpful, isn't it? Oh mate, you've so much responsibility. Like, to have a man that doesn't help in that, well, in any situation. So like plebs, you don't need to call the RSPCA. They were fighting, or it was getting a bit borderline fighty, so I just made a noise. It's fine. No one died. No children got hurt. NSPCC, fucking plebs. To be fair, it was just one pleb. Who took pleb into a whole new level of plebbery. Unreal. Yeah, for any father to not be supporting the mother in whatever way she needs. Oh, I didn't switch her fucking ads on. Gutted. Can you hear that? Something's been torn. Is it just a plastic bag, or what are you doing? What is going on in here? Okay, you're playing with a plastic bag. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's shocking with any child, but like when it's this level of responsibility that is required, and I mean, I can't even imagine. I just, yeah, bless you, Sarah. Why are you in this relationship? What do you get out of it? Is it just financial at this point? I think most of it is not all the Bible. I think most, if not all the Bible, is true too. It's just how it's meant to be understood that I am not sure of, as in not literal. Yeah, it's definitely metaphorical. I think we're pretty similar stages with it, Riley. Like, feel pretty much the same about it, but haven't quite worked out what it's, aren't quite sure about it, but no, it's obviously not what they present it as. We definitely need to look into injections instead of saying it's a conspiracy theory. Sam, you just talk about your relationship. It's much more interesting. I'm only joking. You do what you want. But I'm thinking of your comments based on it being about your relationship. Can you imagine how high VASIMs, so that's per player, but cortisol levels and blood pressure is watching a live, getting so worked up? Do these haters not understand the damage they are doing to their body? No, of course they don't. They don't understand anything. Great points, as always. Riley, Lipsis. I don't understand on the work, Tom. You know what I think, Tom. We have been oppressed. We are the ones who have been abused and exploited. I think we need to be vindicated by all these hideous. I think I agree with what you're saying, but I just hear no responsibility. So I think there's some typos, so I might be reading it wrong, but I don't understand done the work. So are you saying you don't understand what I mean when I say do the work? So that would be a lack of, that's your resistance to doing the work with speaking, your lack of responsibility. I think we all need to be vindicated is like, again, it's savior complex. It's the reason people believe in Jesus or Farage or Trump or whatever. External, you want the savior from the external, you want the vindication from the external. You're not doing this. Only you can vindicate yourself. It's a great word, isn't it? It's a great word. Sam loves the C-bomb. It's because she's a man, energetically. It's a great word. All the best people love that word. That's why I could never work for anyone, Tom. I just don't do the whole playing at getting on with idiots game. I just got sacked time and time again. Oh my God, we're kindred spirits. Until I moved to an island and I worked for myself. Yeah, exactly the same story as me. Love it. You're amazing. Justin in with the 5 again. And we all know why, because he's got loads of money. I am struggling with the scarcity mindset, constantly thinking I don't have enough. Yeah, it's amazing. And it always happens to, you read the comments on. Thinking I don't have enough and that I'm running out of time. How do I take decisive action? It's amazing that those with the most are the ones with the scarcity complex. And have you realized yet that having savings is very stressful? The happy traveler travels with a light backpack. Michael's a great example of this. Whilst I think he's a little bit repressed when it comes to money, or very repressed when it comes to money, and it's actually, there's elements of self-sabotage and disempowerment in his money situation. He's very free and flowing, and I'm going to say quite content. I think he would argue very content. And when I talk about my times of wealth, he just, you can just see the stress in him, even comprehending the responsibility of owning. Because when you own something, you have something to lose. So if you're anything like me, Justin, you're constantly thinking, what happens if I lose that? Which you've just acknowledged you're in scarcity. So you will definitely be having this. And it's the opposite of trust and flow. It's the opposite of, trust and flow. So, knowing that abundance will follow you no matter what. And it's this whole, fear and scarcity around having to hoard something because you don't trust the flow and the abundance of the future. So it's irrational. Can you see it's irrational? Can you see that you have a lot of money and you clearly have the ability to make a lot more money in the future? Can you acknowledge that? And therefore, can you acknowledge that you're constantly thinking I don't have enough and I'm running out of time is irrational? What do you mean you're running out of time? Running out of time to do what? Amass a big pot of money? You're 27. It's completely irrational. So there's that. How do I take decisive action? Well, you need to start trusting. You need to start letting go of your control. So you're so controlling and so in fear, which results in the control, that you have sold your soul for £80,000 a year. And I congratulate you in that in many ways. Like, it's a huge achievement to be earning that sort of money at 27, and it says a lot about you and your acumen. But to carry on doing it, I would not respect you for. I respect you for achieving it and seeing through it by the age of 27, but now you've seen through it, or you're starting to see through it, at least. I would not really respect you if you carried on. So the decisive action you take is actually the opposite of decisive. It's surrendering. So you think that because you've only ever experienced you taking action and doing something externally before, and that only ever been the answer, and that answer has provided great material wealth for you. So the evidence that you have in your life is that you need to make actions, and if you make intelligent, aligned actions from a material perspective, you will be rewarded. And you have evidence to prove that's true. But what you don't have any evidence for, and possibly don't even have a concept for, is surrender and trust. So the decisive action you need to take is stop making decisive actions and just slow down a bit and take a fucking breath. And start to gain the evidence that's currently beyond your perception, that there is a divine flow to this life, and there is a spiritual reflection to this life, and this life is not what you currently think it is and doesn't work like you currently think it does. So you need to do what you're most scared of, which is letting go of control, and take it. So you can't trust right now. What you can do right now is use your courage to take a leap of faith, or you could say to take a risk and just do it. I don't mean just trust, because you can't yet. But you can use your courage to take a risk. And through that risk, you'll learn to trust. How's that, Justin? Was that worth a fiver? All right, I'm going to end it. I am done. Oh, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. What did I say I wanted to do? I wanted to go and buy cat maze stuff. Tom, Dipsis. Tom, do you think trauma from your past can influence your future? Do you think you can see it and banish it? Again, it's just all the wrong framing. And by wrong, I'm not making you wrong. I'm just, you're not. Okay, first part. Do you think trauma from your past can influence your future? Yeah, of course. It's not can influence your future. It absolutely, from the subconscious, controls every aspect of your life. Everything you're doing in your life, everything you think you like and dislike, everything you have aversion to is based on your trauma. At the stage of a path you're at. Do you think you can see it and banish it? So this is the problem. Banish it. So you're shaming it. You're making it not of you. If you were to use language, and obviously the reason the language matters is because it changes how you energetically approach it. So banish is this energy. Integrate, surrender is this energy. So can you integrate it? Can you love it? Can you love the parts of you that are traumatized? I don't mean love the trauma. Can you love the parts of you that are traumatized rather than banishing those parts of you? What do you think? So we're talking about being a child now, essentially. What do you think happens if you banish your inner child? What do you think happens if you banish your traumatized parts? They take control of you. This is the shadow. We banish them into the shadow. We pretend they're not there. We suppress them and they leak out and they control us. So it's actually the opposite of banishing. It's bringing into the light, bringing into awareness, seeing, loving, integrating. I think you'd really benefit from a session with me, Ellipsis. You've got a very incorrect framing of healing. And I think if we did a session together, we could correct all that. And that would give you a chance. At the moment, you haven't even got a chance because your framing is completely back to front. So you're wasting your time, really, right now. So either me or someone else, you need to book a session with someone. You can't do this work without the help of others. But the paradox is only you can do it. No one can actually help you. But also, when you're so, and this isn't Ellipsis thing, this is an everyone thing, when we are so repressed and indoctrinated and inverted, without the help of somebody who has experience in this area, who has experienced it themselves and got to the other side of the bridge that you're currently trying to cross, that doesn't mean that they're finished. But, you know, as long as they've crossed the bridge that you're trying to cross, then that's enough experience for you to learn from. You're just wasting your time. So for the sake of 50 quid, you know, if you don't want to spend 50 quid with me or someone else, I mean, probably more with someone else, but whatever, then you're just going to waste your time for another 2 years. Over 50 quid. And yet in that time, you're working 40 hours a week. So where's the cost? Is the cost in working 40 hours a week for another 2 years because you don't want to spend 50? You see what I'm saying? Honor yourself and book a session and change your life. Oh, wow, we've not seen this one for a while. Like you, Tom, I did work on myself twice last year, 3 times this morning. So I've never been able to work this one out. He's got stories like fibromyalgia. He thinks he's got fibromyalgia. So he's very disempowered. And sometimes he leaves quite hateful comments, but I think he is a supporter. He's definitely a character. I've never worked out if I like him or not. Sometimes I feel like I can't stand him, and sometimes I feel like I really like him. But I haven't seen you for ages. Have you been too fibromyalgia? Have you been making up too many stories that you've made up so many stories that you can't get off the sofa because you've made up this illness? When actually you're just like repressed and depressed. Bless you, my man. Ellipsis. I do feel angry when I was being pushed into doing something I didn't want to do, getting a job. Ooh. I didn't take it. Oh, good. I didn't take it, but I had so much abuse. Yes, I do think we need apologies. I'm through it. Yeah, you're still making other people important. You're still making other people's opinions important. Like, why do you need apologies from plebs? Really, you know, if you did the work and started to love yourself, you would have nothing but compassion for the people that did that to themselves. And you wouldn't need their apologies, because it'd be like wanting an apology off a 3-year-old. Like, why do you, as an empowered divine feminine, you're not that now, but, you know, you would become that once you're the person that I'm speaking into now. Why would you need the apologies of a 3-year-old? Matters not. You only need it because you're of the ego, and your ego is hurt, and you want to, your ego only knows satisfaction through making itself stronger and getting other people to reinforce it. So that's why you want their apologies. Now, of course, if you extrapolated it to the political system, of course, we will never make, I mean, it all just needs to collapse anyway. It can't be solved, but we would never make any progress in that sphere without accountability is what you really want, accountability. Apologies is just a word. You want accountability and change. So yeah, that would be nice from that sphere, but you know, from the average pleb that called you an anti-vaxxer, they're a 3-year-old. All right, guys, thanks for the stream tonight. Oh, have we just got another one? Oh, no. Thank you so much to all these people. Really appreciate it. The pussies appreciate it too, because they're going to get a nice maze on the wall. Particularly Michelle, who specifically stated that's where she wants her money to go. But yeah, thank you to you all. All your money is going to go towards that maze on the wall. I imagine that I've pretty much paid for it tonight with your generous contributions that allow these live streams to happen. Thank you very much. It's been quite enjoyable. I'm pretty tired, but I think it's been quite a good one. Sorry about my faux pas in the first one, but I think that'll be fine. So there's, obviously there's many demons that watch this, but there's only one I can think of that is sad enough to actually want to do something with that information. And he's an alcoholic, so he won't have seen it. He'll be passed out. So I don't think you've got much to worry about. Lots of love. Sorry if you do get any emails. I will learn from that mistake and take more responsibility in future with what I share on my screen. Lots of love to you all. Thanks for being here.